several severe irregularities in mortuary tagging and documentation. The vast majority of the 39 remains, that is the 33 bodies and the 6 parts, lacked the standard official mortuary tags. Only a few had illegible hospital tags or informal handwritten wrist or foot tags. However, none of the bodies had proper hospital identification and documentation. Further, whereas the hospital records indicate that 46 infants may have died in the wards and were taken to the morgue, the mortuary records do not account for the discharge of the 46 infants or fetuses whose remains may have left the morgue under unclear circumstances. And these findings, therefore, point to serious lapses in mortuary protocols, serious lapses in documentation and oversight at Nyamira Teaching and Referral Hospital mortuary, as well as irregularities in the burial process at the Makaburini Cemetery, owned by the National Council of Churches of Kenya, Kericho branch, which was overseen by the caretaker, one Richard Towet alias Ezekiel. The investigations have therefore conclusively established that all the remains recovered from the mass grave where we are standing this morning actually originated from Nyamira Teaching and Referral Hospital mortuary. And this has been acknowledged by the management and the officials of the said referral hospital. We have footages from the facility that shows that on March 19, 2026, 4 bags were loaded into a white Toyota Land Cruiser, registration number GKA 549L, by Jason Mochara Nyabi, who is the chief mortician of the referral hospital, under the direct supervision of the facility's public health officer. And this particular vehicle has since been impounded and is under police custody. And therefore, to ensure complete accountability and transparency, the following investigative actions are being actively pursued. One is the identification of the deceased persons. While DNA and toxicology samples have already been submitted to the government chemist for further forensic analysis, the investigation team has embarked on tracing the parents of the deceased infants, as the fetuses, and reference DNA samples from patients whose limbs were amputated at the hospital for comparison purposes. 2. Forensic document analysis, authentication and analysis of court orders, hospital records, mortuary records, and all other relevant documents pertaining to the matter under investigation. We are also pursuing outstanding administrative records from the National Council of Churches of Kenya, Kericho branch, specifically to ascertain the confirmation of employment, the deployment details, and the roles for Richard Towet alias Ezekiel. We are also desirous to know the list of employees at the organization and confirmation of the land registration details for the NCCK Makaburini Cemetery, including whether the land is a gazetted public cemetery. So far, we have arrested a total of 6 suspects. But after interrogation and interviews, we released 3 who are still again under active investigations, but the remaining 3 are in custody pursuant to court orders. and their names are as follows. Jason Machora Nyarbi, who is the mortuary officer in charge. He's the mortician, the chief mortician, Nyamira Teaching and Referral Hospital. We have David Araka Makori, is the public health officer, and Richard Towet alias Ezekiel, who is the cemetery caretaker. The court proceedings are ongoing, and the matter is slated for formation on 23rd of April 2026. Paid 130,000 to be paid to the management of the NCCK Makuburini cemetery. Unfortunately, like I said, there were no proper protocols. And when that payment is done, then the public health officer and the mortician were supposed to ensure that due process has been followed. And that's why I said we will be trying to establish what are the protocols, the payment processes, and the management and the custody of all these bodies. Seriously, there was a lapse. There was a lapse, and that is what is under investigation. So currently we are talking about dead, undocumented dead bodies. People are talking about mass murder. There's nothing about murder here. We are just talking about negligence and accountability, and we will take appropriate action. We are looking at offences under the Births and Deaths Registration Act, offences under the Penal Code, and the offences again under the Public Health Act. And once we are done, then we will submit the file to the ODPP for further directions.